Welcome to SEO Conspiracy.com. This is your alternative search news for week 38 of 2020. Without any further ado, let's go. First in the news, a thread on Reddit. How does Google find a page without any backlinks? Very good question. Many answers. Google can have very creative ways to find a new page on the web. For real, I've tested so many things. For example, just sharing a link on Gmail and finding it indexed on Google. Many like that. Since I started in 2004, it's one of my hobby to test out how does Google will find a page. However, I will not draw general conclusions. These are just tests I've done on a personal level. This channel is called SEO Conspiracy for a good reason, because I don't want myth to spread, and it's been going on for too long. Furthermore, this question might have many answers, but at the end of the day, does it really matter? If you know how to build links, applying the topical mesh, my internal linking strategy, you can find it on the Semantic SEO playlist. It will work. You will have no problem indexing new pages. Second, if you don't fear the Google psychological warfare tactics trying to make you believe that backlinks are evil, if you're not scared of backlinks, then it's the number one asset you have to find backlinks. A few weeks ago, I reported on the indexing services. It was another thread on Reddit. No, it was on Black Hat World. And apparently, there's one indexing service that still works. If you do heavy spam, like trying to index hundreds of thousands of pages a day, built on the principle of the landing page, yes, you might need some help indexing. For the rest of us, if you know how to build a strong site from a PageRank standpoint, let me remind you that domain authority does not exist. PageRank exists. Citation flow on Majestic is PageRank. TrustFlow is the topical PageRank. That's all you need. You need strong assets. You need at least 40 and 40 on Majestic metrics, which corresponds to a PageRank 4. And in my opinion, is enough to have all the on-page and on-insight assets do their job. And finally, you only see the first phase. Google discovers a page. Google discovers 25 billion spam pages a day. So then Google has to decide, okay, I discover a page. Do I index? Yes or no? If I do index, then you got many operations. You got to calculate, compute PageRank, anti-spam, relevancy, legitimacy, authority, all this. And at the end, we see the first phase and the last phase. Google discovers a page. Google returns that page on the search engine result page. Everything in between is invisible to us. At least check log files, okay? First phase, when does Google discover your page? And then check the last. When does Google return the page on the search engine result page? And at the end of the day, it won't help you rank. Whatever you do to index faster doesn't mean you're going to rank higher. If you do apply a good sound strategy like the topical mesh, you will be discovered, indexed very fast, and you will rank first. No more question marks. Now let's go back to the news. Second, on search engine land, how much does Google's new search term filtering affect ad spend transparency? A couple of weeks ago, I reported that Google is starting to filter out some keywords on the reports, Google Ads report. It's a problem. And here, these guys from Optimyzr shared a quick script, filters on for the console, and you will see the difference. What they found out is that impressions were already filtered a lot before Google's announcement. On September 2, 2020, there was also a pronounced decrease in visibility into queries driving clicks and cost. Smart shopping campaigns saw less of a change because most search terms were already unavailable to them anyway. Next in the news, on TechCrunch.com, leaked memo is telling us that Facebook response to the global political manipulation issue is mostly PR. This memo reads, it's an open secret within the civic integrity space that Facebook's short-term decisions are largely motivated by PR and the potential for negative attention. It's why I've seen priorities of escalation shoot up when others start threatening to go to the press, and why I was informed by a leader in my organization that my civil work was not impactful under the rationale that if the problems were meaningful, they would have attracted attention. Became a press fire and convinced the company to devote more attention to the space. Facebook responded saying that it was mainly about fake likes, and they were facing more urgent and harmful threats globally, quote unquote. Of course, it's all about PR, guys. I mean, come on. They don't want 2016 to happen again. All the accusation, and especially after the big tech hearing, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, mainly Google and Facebook, and even Twitter, who was not in the big tech hearing, show good faith. They have to make efforts trying to prove that they don't manipulate the political bias, meaning that each side has equal opportunity to be filtered out or not from whatever the users are seeing. It's hard. They won't be able to be 100% effective. It won't work like it should. Fake news will still spread. Some political bias can be found. It's technology, it's not perfect. And you have bugs, and even at the top, do they really want to change things or not? It's an open question. Next in the news, if you've never seen what an underwater data center looks like, well, goes on news.microsoft.com. It looks like an underwater data center, I guess. It's just a cylinder. It looks kind of big. And supposedly they will extend this type of deployment. Going underwater will solve many problems, especially in regards to cooling, but it will definitely not solve the increase in needs for data centers and resources and electricity and so on. We'll talk about it in a couple of seconds when we come to Google. Next in the news, it's in French on the Sacem.fr, but I will give you that context. Twitch is signed up in a partnership with Sacem. Sacem is the official French organization that will retribute singers, authors, musicians for their work. What's important here is if you follow the Twitch drama when it comes to DMCA reports, this is a big move towards making sure that it's not the wild, wild west anymore on Twitch as far as copyright goes. Because it's not fair. On YouTube, Facebook, you can't stream anything you want. And for the past, how old is Twitch? Like 8-9 years, you were able to stream whatever you wanted as far as music or video or TV. Didn't matter. And I see a lot of moves for music. So yes, let's regulate that, because copyright is something you need to respect. Don't use other people's work without respecting their copyrights. Next in the news, on official Google blog, and going back to this whole save the planet, announcing Google's third decade of climate action, our most ambitious yet. This is Google propaganda at work. Don't believe the hype. They say that today they achieve 100% renewable energy. It's a lie. They buy tickets. They buy, energy tickets. So they spend electricity like anybody else, but then they give back money that is invested in renewable energy projects. And they claim that by 2030, there will be the first major company to operate carbon free. Good luck with that. Until then, last time I checked, there were only 2 data centers that were mostly carbon free using windmills. And also the way they invest in the sustainability bonds, it's pretty controversial. They invest in technology that are not so sustainable. Also, they don't count in whatever is going on with mobile in there, because you got huge carbon footprints by using mobile. And also, they don't account what it costs to build those windmills, those solar panels, and recycle them. It's out of the equation. So let's not play pretend here. It's just a PR move. And last, also, let's remind ourselves that the demand is increasing. They will build more data center. We require more power. We require more computer. We want more bandwidth. Doesn't sound good. That's all I'm saying. Next in the news, on torrentfreak.com. Just funny to say that piratebay.org, the domain, was sold for $50,000. And piratebay.com is next. By the time you watch the news, most likely the piratebay.com will also be sold. It's a nice price, $50,000 for piratebay.org. Now, what do you do with this? I don't know. All I know is Pirate Bay is using the .fun extension right now, if you want to find torrent. Next in the news, on blackhatworld.com, I thought this would be very funny because I got 2 news for you from Black Hat World, and they are totally white hat. Well, the first one is case study, ranking a parasite for a high traffic keyword by reverse engineering Google algorithm. Very ambitious study because, in my opinion, this guy did not reverse engineer anything. He just applied traditional tactics in optimizing content, looking at user intent, and giving Google what it wants is what I do. What I've been doing it for at least 10 years, working on semantic SEO. So, good job. In my opinion, from my experience, it's nothing spectacular because that's all I've been doing. And I think you should too. Next, my Google Ads adventure, buckle up. Also on Black Hat World by App and Bot. It's pretty cool because this guy totally documented his journey into ad spending, and it didn't go so well at the beginning. Then, spoiler alert, at the end, he started to improve, but it's nothing impressive. Next in the news, GoogleBot will soon speak to HTTP 2. Finally, I've been waiting for this because H2 or HTTP 2 is what we should be using, especially if you use HTTPS. So thank you, Google. And finally, in the news, a study on Sistrix blog, Core Web Vitals, Wix versus WordPress versus Shopify versus Shopware versus the rest of them all. And WordPress, very bad. Wix, very bad. Squarespace, very bad. Joomla, very bad. They're all even worse than Weebly or Drupal. The best seems to be Jimdo, Typo3, Modex, Pimcore. Spip is actually doing pretty good. So we're all using WordPress, and I don't know why WordPress works actually. It's unbelievable. This script, I use it myself, but I don't know why it's working. It's a mystery. Magic works on the web. This is all for this week. All the links I mentioned can be found on SEOconspiracy.com. If you look for the post of the alternative search news for week 38 of 2020. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.